cafes, restaurants, and other public places warned that Jews weren't allowed to enter. During the war years, the Nazis created ghettos, small, sealed areas inside cities where Jews were forced to live in unhealthy and crowded conditions. Every month, tens of thousands of Jews were deported to forced labor camps, concentration camps, and death camps, where, unless they were useful to the Nazis, they were killed in gas chambers or murdered in some other way. It was all part of Hitler's final solution, the Nazi plan to eliminate all the Jews of Europe. As the war came to an end in 1945, the Allies liberated the imprisoned Jews, although hundreds of thousands were barely alive because of Nazi cruelty. The world was shocked to discover that of the 9 million Jews who had lived in Europe before the war, 6 million had been murdered or had died from starvation or disease in Nazi camps. Another 4 million civilians, including 3 million Polish Catholics, died at the hands of the Nazis. Of the Jewish children who failed to escape Europe after 1939, more than 1.5 million were murdered by the Nazis or were deported to camps where they died of illness or hunger. This horrific mass murder is called the Holocaust, a word derived from ancient Greek and meaning sacrifice by fire. Out of the ashes of the Holocaust emerged a new country, Israel, where in 1948 hundreds of thousands of Jews started a new life free from the tyranny of hate. Many other Holocaust survivors chose to remain in Europe, come to America, or settle in other continents, hoping to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. They each had a story to tell, but over the decades, the world still has heard too few of them. Now, with each passing year, the number of Holocaust survivors dwindles as they pass on from old age. Their stories deserve to be told before it is too late. What will happen to me now that the Nazis are here? Luncia Gamzer's story. Luncia Gamzer jerked awake when the night erupted in angry shouts and screams of terror coming from the street below. "Tatu? What's happening?" Luncia whimpered from her bedroom.
"Go back to bed,"
her father ordered from the living room, as he peeked out the window through the curtains.
"You don't need to see this."
Luncia was too young to understand that the chaos outside on this frightening summer night in 1941 had been triggered by Germany's invasion and occupation of the Polish city of Lvov. Until a few days earlier, Luncia's hometown had been under the control of the Soviet Union. Now, at the urging of the Nazis, locals known as Ukrainian nationalists were ransacking Jewish-owned stores and the homes of Jewish families in Lvov. A mob was attacking an apartment building across the street from the one where 8-year-old Luncia lived with her parents, Isaac and Barbara. The intruders were smashing dishes and crystal and throwing furniture out the window. Luncia covered her head with her pillow, hoping to drown out the cries of anguish and the shattering of glass that filled the night air. Unable to muffle the sounds of horror, she bolted out of bed and joined her parents in the living room. But when she looked in their eyes, she felt even more scared. They didn't say a word. The tension was too much. "Are they going to come here, Tatu?" Luncia finally asked.
"No, I don't think so, kitten,"
Luncia's father said. Turning to his wife, Isaac whispered, "Let us pray they don't." The next morning, Luncia and her mother ventured across the street to visit their neighbors.
"Do you see what those nationalists did?"
wailed Mrs. Zullo, her left arm in a makeshift sling.
"The Nazis put them up to this. They smashed our furniture and broke every dish. They even destroyed the sink. Look, they broke my arm. And for what? Our only crime is that we're Jewish."
Luncia squeezed her mother's hand.
"Mama, we're Jewish," she whispered. "Are they going to do that to us?